The 30th of April 1943. A fishing boat rocks gently off the coast of Huelva, Spain. The morning sun is just beginning to burn through the mist when a fisherman named José Antonio Rey Maria spots something floating in the water. At first, he thinks it's driftwood, maybe a piece of debris from a sunken ship. The Mediterranean is full of wreckage in 1943, but as his boat drifts closer, he sees the truth. It's a body, a man, face down in the waves. Dressed in a British Royal Marines uniform, a briefcase is chained to his wrist. His pockets are bulging with personal items, letters, ticket stubs, photographs. José pulls the body aboard. He rows to shore. He alerts the Spanish authorities. They examine the corpse. They find identification. Major William Martin, Royal Marines, attached to Combined Operations Headquarters. They find love letters from his fiancée, a woman named Pam. They find a receipt for an engagement ring purchased from a London jeweller. They find theatre tickets dated just days before his death. They find an angry letter from his bank manager about an overdrawn account, and they find something else, top-secret documents. Military plans, Allied invasion strategies for the Mediterranean. The Spanish officials contact the Germans, and within hours, those documents are on their way to Berlin. Adolf Hitler reads them, his generals study them, and they believe every single word. But here's the thing you need to understand. Major William Martin never existed. The body was real. A homeless man who died in London. The documents were fake, carefully crafted lies designed to mislead the most paranoid intelligence service in the world. And the entire operation code-named Operation Mincemeat was the most audacious, twisted, brilliant piece of wartime deception ever conceived. It tricked Hitler, it changed the course of the invasion of Europe, and it saved thousands of Allied lives. So let me ask you, how do you convince the smartest military minds in Nazi Germany to believe a lie? How do you create a fake person so convincing that even the Gestapo can't see through it? And how do you use a corpse to win a war? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is the story of the dead man who fooled Hitler and the brilliant, twisted minds who pulled it off. January 1943. London, a cramped, smoke-filled office in the Admiralty building on Whitehall. Two men sit across from each other at a scarred wooden desk, staring at a map of Europe spread out between them. One is Lieutenant Commander Ewen Montagu, a 1-year-old naval intelligence officer with a sharp legal mind and a taste for intricate schemes. The other is Flight Lieutenant Charles Cholmondeley, a 5-year-old RAF officer with boyish good looks and a genius for deception. They have a problem, a big one. The Allies are planning to invade Sicily in July 1943 Operation Husky. It's the next logical step after the successful North African campaign. Push into southern Europe, knock Italy out of the war, open a second front against Hitler. But there's a catch. The Germans know it's coming. Sicily is the obvious target. It's the closest point to Allied-controlled North Africa. It's lightly defended compared to mainland Italy. Any halfway competent strategist can see that Sicily is the next move. And if the Germans reinforce Sicily with panzer divisions, coastal artillery, and Luftwaffe squadrons, the invasion will turn into a bloodbath. British intelligence needs to do the impossible, convince Adolf Hitler that the Allies are attacking somewhere else. Montagu and Cholmondeley have been working on this problem for weeks. They've studied previous deception operations, they've analysed German intelligence methods, they've wargamed dozens of scenarios, and they've come up with an idea. It's insane. It's morbid. It's borderline unethical. But it just might work. They're going to plant fake invasion plans on a dead body. They're going to dress the corpse as a high-ranking British officer. They're going to give him a fake identity, a fake backstory, fake personal effects, everything needed to make him seem real. And they're going to dump him off the coast of Spain, officially neutral territory, but crawling with Nazi spies who regularly pass intelligence to Berlin. If it works, the Germans will find the body, read the documents, and divert their forces away from Sicily to Greece and Sardinia. If it fails, the Allies lose the element of surprise, and thousands of British, American, and Canadian soldiers die on the beaches. Montagu types up the proposal on a manual typewriter. He keeps it vague, bureaucratic, deniable. He sends it up the chain of command through British naval intelligence, and to his shock, it gets approved, all the way to the top, all the way to Prime Minister Winston Churchill himself. Churchill reads the plan. He loves it. He scrawls one word across the top of the memo in his distinctive handwriting: approved. Now comes the hard part, making it believable. They need a body. Not just any body, a fresh one. One that looks like it's been in the water for a few days but hasn't decomposed too badly. One that can pass a cursory medical examination by Spanish authorities. They contact Sir Bernard Spilsbury, Britain's most famous forensic pathologist. Spilsbury has spent decades examining murder victims, testifying in high-profile trials, and consulting on criminal investigations. Now Montagu and Cholmondeley are asking him to help fake a death. Spilsbury agrees. He searches through recent mortality records in London hospitals and morgues. He finds a candidate, Glyn W. Michael, a 4-year-old homeless man who died on the 28th of January 1943 after ingesting rat poison in an abandoned warehouse. No family, no one to ask questions, no one who will recognize him. Life for a dead man. They name him Major William Martin, Royal Marines. They give him a service number, 148228. They give him a rank, Acting Major. They give him a posting, Combined Operations Headquarters, London. They create a backstory, recently promoted, engaged to be married, temporarily assigned to North Africa as a courier. And then they start building the details, the small, human touches that make a fake person feel real. They create personal effects, things a real officer would carry in his pockets. A photograph of his fiancée, Pam. Actually a clerk named Jean Leslie from MI5 who agreed to pose for the photo in exchange for secrecy. Love letters from Pam, written in feminine handwriting on perfumed stationery, full of intimate details about their upcoming wedding. I love you with all my heart, one letter reads. The days until we're together again feel like years. A receipt for an engagement ring, purchased on credit from S.J. Phillips, a high-end London jeweller, for £53, a significant sum for a junior officer. Ticket stubs from a West End theatre show strike a new note at the Prince of Wales Theatre, dated the 22nd of April 1943. An irate letter from Lloyd's Bank informing Major Martin that his account is £79 overdrawn and demanding immediate payment. A bill from his military tailor for £14. Loose change, a pack of cigarettes, a book of matches, a set of keys, a worn Street Christopher medal. Every detail is designed to make Major Martin feel like a real person. Someone with debts, relationships, plans for the future, someone human. And then they create the documents, the ones that will fool Adolf Hitler. They draft 2 letters, both written on official letterhead, both stamped top secret, both carefully worded to sound authentic. The first letter is from Lieutenant General Archibald Nye, Vice Chief of the Imperial General Staff, to General Harold Alexander, Commander of Allied Ground Forces in the Mediterranean. It's written in a casual, chatty tone, the kind of informal communication that passes between high-ranking officers who know each other well. It discusses personnel changes. It mentions an officer they both know. And then, almost as an afterthought, it mentions upcoming operations. We have decided to launch operations against Sardinia and the Peloponnese. Sicily is merely a cover target to draw German attention away from the real objectives. The second letter is from Lord Louis Mountbatten, Chief of Combined Operations, to Admiral Andrew Cunningham, Commander-in-Chief of the Mediterranean Fleet. It's even more informal. It talks about a mutual friend. It jokes about sardines, a subtle hint that the Germans will interpret as code for Sardinia. The documents are carefully aged. The paper is crumpled slightly. The ink is smudged in a few places, as if the letters have been carried in a briefcase for days. And then they place them in a locked briefcase and chain it to Major Martin's wrist with a length of sturdy chain. On the 19th of April 1943, the body is loaded onto HMS Seraph, a British submarine commanded by Lieutenant Norman Jewell. The crew doesn't know the full plan. They're told only that they're carrying out a highly classified intelligence operation code-named Mincemeat. The submarine departs from Holyloch, Scotland, and cruises south through the Atlantic, around Portugal, toward the coast of southern Spain. Destination: Huelva, a small fishing port known for two things, its thriving sardine industry and its German spies. At 4:30 a.m. on the 30th of April 1943, HMS Seraph surfaces a mile off the coast. The crew opens the hatch. They carry the body up to the deck. Lieutenant Jewell reads Psalm 39 aloud. "Lord, let me know mine end and the number of my days." And then they slide Major William Martin into the cold, dark water, and watch him drift toward shore. The body washes ashore near Huelva at approximately 9:30 a.m. on the 30th of April 1943. José Antonio Rey Maria, the fisherman who found it, alerts the Spanish authorities. A local police officer arrives. Then, a Spanish Navy officer. Then, a military doctor. They examine the corpse. They note the uniform, the identification papers, the briefcase chained to the wrist. The doctor performs a cursory autopsy. Cause of death: drowning, probably the result of a plane crash at sea. No one suspects anything. The briefcase is handed over to Spanish naval intelligence. They photograph the documents inside. They copy them carefully. And then they do exactly what British intelligence hoped they would do. They contact the Germans. Spain is officially neutral in World War II, but in reality, Spanish dictator Francisco Franco leans heavily toward the Axis. Spanish officials routinely share intelligence with Nazi Germany, and the Germans have spies embedded throughout the Spanish military, police, and customs service. Within 24 hours, the documents are in German hands. Within 48 hours, they're in Berlin. The British know this is happening. They've planted an MI5 officer, Charles Cholmondeley's colleague, in the British embassy in Madrid, whose job is to quietly pressure the Spanish to return the documents, but not too quickly. They want the Germans to have time to read them, study them, believe them, and they do. In Berlin, the documents land on the desk of Admiral Wilhelm Canaris, head of the Abwehr, Nazi Germany's military intelligence service. Canaris is one of the most brilliant intelligence officers in the world. He's paranoid, methodical, and deeply suspicious of everything that crosses his desk. But this time, he believes it. Why? Because the documents are too perfect, too detailed, too casual. The letters aren't formal intelligence briefings. They're personal correspondence between high-ranking officers who know each other. They mention operations almost as afterthoughts, buried in discussions about personnel changes and mutual friends. No one fakes that kind of detail. No one goes to that much trouble unless it's real. And the personal effects? The love letters? The overdrawn bank account? The theatre tickets? Those details are what sell it. Because human beings are messy. They have debts. They fall in love. They go to the theatre. They overdraw their bank accounts. Major William Martin feels real, human, authentic. Canaris forwards the intelligence to Adolf Hitler with a note. Documents captured from British courier, highly credible, recommend immediate defensive measures. Hitler reads the documents. He consults with his generals, and he makes a decision. He orders German forces to reinforce Greece and Sardinia. He moves entire panzer divisions from France and Italy. He redirects Luftwaffe squadrons. He fortifies coastal defences in the wrong places, and he pulls troops away from Sicily. Operation Mincemeat has worked. The 10th of July 1943. The coast of Sicily. In the pre-dawn darkness, Allied forces, British, American, Canadian, launched the largest amphibious invasion of the war to date. Over 160,000 troops, more than 3,000 ships, 7 divisions hitting the beaches simultaneously. The Germans are caught completely off guard. Their forces in Sicily are undermanned, under-equipped, and unprepared. Hitler's best divisions are in Greece, waiting for an invasion that will never come. Within hours, the Allies establish beachheads. Within days, they control key ports and airfields. Within weeks, they control the entire island. Italy surrenders. Mussolini is overthrown and arrested. The entire southern front of Europe cracks open like an egg. Back in London, Ewen Montagu and Charles Cholmondeley receive quiet congratulations from their superiors. There are no medals, no public recognition, no press conferences. The operation remains classified for decades. Even after the war, the truth about Operation Mincemeat is kept secret. But historians later estimate that the deception saved between 10,000 and 30,000 Allied lives. Glyndwr, Michael, the homeless man who died alone in a London warehouse, became the most successful spy of World War II. And Major William Martin, the man who never existed, changed the course of history. So here's my question for you. Can a lie be more powerful than the truth? Can fiction change reality? Operation Mincemeat proved that it can. A homeless man who died forgotten became a decorated officer. A briefcase full of fake documents became the key to Allied victory. And a corpse floating in the Mediterranean became the spy who fooled Hitler. What do you think? Was this the greatest intelligence operation of the war, or just the most audacious? Was it brilliant strategy or morally questionable deception? Drop your answer in the comments, because this conversation matters. And if you want more untold World War II secrets, stories about the operations, the people, and the strategies that changed history but never made the headlines, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. See you in the next